So we'll start with the very last page of note 3 notes. And I just wanted to make sure that you were all reading these. First of all, the long section. It isn't just a case of drawing the lines that we drew up in class. This is a general tick list. So you can go through and go, you might go, okay, there's no environmental concerns, don't worry about that. Or you might go, yes, there is. I need to include that in my notes or include it on the drawing itself. Right the way through to what should you be showing on there in terms of the drawing. Remember, as a big hint, the racing driver that threw away his rear screen mirror because he wasn't interested in anything behind his car, exactly like that with the long section, okay? A lot of students have been asking me how many trees do I draw in there, what about the ones in front, blah, blah, blah. It's all about the long section along the pipe. You should have learnt that last year. If you're unsure about it, go back and have a look at week 2 or 3 notes from last year's when you did that sketch drawing through the long section. When it comes to the existing pan, there's a number of other things there that you should just go through and make sure. This isn't a complete list, but it's pretty much an 80 or 90% list for a tick-off. There are other things here and there. Student asked me if they need to put the path on. Of course you do. If it cuts through it, yes. If it doesn't, no. There is a few other things as well. For example, the bush area. It's kind of in the background, but it's fairly close. But being kind of native bush or whatever, I think it's important to at least show it on the long section because it's kind of over there. But I wouldn't go any further than that, like, you know, to the marae or to the rugby grounds or on and on and on, straight there. Just the fact that that bush is fairly close. Probably, yeah. The other thing that some people are getting a little bit concerned about is that they go onto Google and a couple of things don't quite look right. This is a project that's been developed over I can't put the actual survey on there because it's too easy to obtain the contours and get everything perfect. So I've tweaked things around. So yes, they aren't right. And yes, it's flat out there, but somehow Roger's done the contours coming up a bit more than they should. You have to accept that. It's also towards project for the surveys as well. And you are expected, if buildings have been called up, to put at least a very approximate outline of the building and call it approximate. Please, surveyors, do not get out your survey equipment and do it down to the last millimetre. I don't want that. You know, just step it out, or maybe just trace it off a Google map, maybe measure it and go, okay, it's about 10 metres, so just draw a line of 10 metres, okay? The IBM building is incorrectly labelled. Most of you know that anyway. It's called Concentrix now. A couple of years ago it was called IBM. A couple of years before that it was called the Business School. So changes like the wind. So you'll see it on Google anyway. And that curved area is a pathed area. So just an approximate line. And there are 3 buildings which need the symbol that we mentioned in week 1. Okay, moving on to cross sections. You'll notice with roading cross sections, we always start here at the bottom left, and we work our way up as we drive along the road. So technically, back in the old days, we used to put all the road cross sections in a great big line in the meeting room, and we almost like drive along them. Well, programs now will allow you to do that now. 12D, for example, when you've done your design, will allow you to drive through it, and there are other programs that tack onto that which allow you to drive through at whatever speed you want. So, yeah, the programs like that are getting more and more complex, but at the end of the day, they still have to produce cross-sections to build them. Like I said in the lab, cross-sections are one-to-one. They're exactly as it is. So as you're walking along the road, you can carry your plans with you. Yes, yes. Oh, what's that doing there? It's a jersey. What's that doing on my cross-section? Maybe that's wrong, sort of thing, okay? Or, oh, there's a cliff. It gets more critical when a surveyor does not pick up something. So he might be asked to do a road every 5, 10, the norm is 20 metres, and he completely ignores a great big rock outcrop. Now, if you do that in central Otago, that's dynamite territory. You need dynamite to get rid of the schist rock. And if you ignore that as a surveyor and just move on to the next cross-section, you've ignored quite a few $100,000 worth of work, right? Just like if you ignore a great big hole in the ground. So one of my questions in the test is, why would a surveyor pick up an extra cross-section on a road job? What would be the reason for actually taking an in-between cross-section? And you guys are noticing on the long section, when we do every 5 metres, there are other ones as well, like the platform, the path, trees, etc. So, yeah, with cross-sections, we build off them, we use them on site. Project managers, future project managers use them, we'll be using them all the time. And so it's important to put as much information as you can. So there's the first difference. The fact that they're one-to-one, and they're used more predominantly on site. The long section is kind of laid out in the office, gives everyone a rough idea of the road. Remember, it's stretched. We do other things for long sections, but the other thing is with cross sections, they're normally at a different scale, a bigger scale, so we can see them better. So I've made you do that with your platforms, and when we do the roading job, they'll also be at a different scale. How many do we put on a sheet? Well, that is determined by you, basically, the draftsman, the designer. In this case, we got 6 on. That's probably a reasonable amount at the scale of 1 to 100. If it was a scale of 1 to 50, we might only get 4. So as I said, we always go up, so change 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and there was another sheet of these as well. Surveyors will probably do 2 sheets of cross-sections, maybe 3. We always have notes on there, we have symbols on there, but there is a very big difference in terms of things like the trees that you put on your long section, because they're going to be squashed down. The other thing is, on cross-sections we need a point of reference. So on a normal country road, it is normally the centre of the road. Which in my surveying days brings back a little story. I remember there was a guy in Dunedin, he's retired now, but his name was the Hat. And surveying equipment back in those days was worth a hell of a lot of money. It is still worth money, but it's nowhere near as much. And if you damaged something, even if it was a staff or something like that, you know, you had to report to the Hat. He was in charge of the whole district. And going into his office was hell. Let alone if you'd done something wrong. He had this bowler hat that he used to hang up on the wall, and when he had it on, you knew you were in trouble. Anyway, we had a team of guys that set up in the middle of the road. They put all their cones out, warning the cars that there was a survey there, and they had the tripod set up with the theodolite on top, and they decided to have a lunch break. They were sitting there eating their lunch, and this car came rolling around the corner, ignoring all the signs, straight through the theodolite, smashed it to bits, and they thought, oh well, the Hat won't be too bad because no one was killed in the incident. They could have been working there. Well, he just went ballistic at them. He said, I don't want any survey equipment broken unless the surveyor is broken at the same time. Always remember that. Which leads me on to the another surveyor was involved with. I wasn't on the job. State Highway 1, when they extended by Green Lane there, obviously the line of reference wasn't the centre of the road. I mean, unless you really don't like your chainmen, you put them out in the centre of the road, dodging traffic. So you make a line of reference on the side of the road. Country roads like that one where that survey equipment was, no problem. You go along the centre, you set up at each station. When we draw the cross sections, we draw them up with the centre line being the point of reference on most roads and on your platform. Anything to the left, we start doing our distance or change it, or call it distance to the left. Anything to the right, to the right. So this centre line becomes 0. Now that's quite different to the long section. Long section, the 0 was at this end, isn't it? Yep. Okay? So there's a second difference in cross sections. Thirdly, the batter slopes will be back to 1:1. And fourthly, if we change our scale, our text and our arrows are going to change back to another size. And I don't want emails saying, oh, what's the size of the text? Is it 0.35? Is it 0.7? Blah, blah, blah. On the very first lecture, over here on this board, little bits of it still here, is the calculation that I did for the text heights. Please apply that to the new cross-section at 1 to 50, not 1 to 100. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about.
Is it
If
for
you
the
talk-
long section as well?
I beg your pardon?
Same for the long section as well?
The long section is 1 to 100, so the text heights will be the same as the existing site plan. It's just, this is assignment 2 we're talking about now. I know it's hard. Most lecturers will do a block of work and you'll hand in, and then the next week they'll start on the next assignment, and then you'll hand in, and then so on. We've moved on. Alright? So long section was in the past. Yep.
Is the butterfly cut and fill type thing, is that on assignment 1?
No. Please don't draw that on the existing site plan. And please don't put your section marks on there either for the cross sections or long sections. Yep, the butterfly wings, you will copy that to the side. Now technically you move the coordinates for your proposed plan. In the real world, we leave it on top because we don't want to destroy the survey data. We just put different layers on there and turn them off in different viewports. But I would rather to not confuse you guys, just copy it to the side and start drawing it over here. Now if you hand in on Sunday and you've started that, I don't care. I won't be marking that, alright? Just pretend it's not even there. If you started your cross section, that's fine too. I'm marking your existing site plan, alright? So that allows you to do that. I will, as soon as that Dropbox closes, sometime on the Sunday, Monday, I'll make the next assignment 2 Dropbox available. I've just learned from mistakes. Honestly, if I open it up, we have issues, and the issues start happening because students then go into assignment 2 and delete the one they put in there for assignment 1 accidentally and put their new assignment 2 in there, and I'm like, what's happened here? So if I put it all in one box,